What is up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Motion Talk. This is something I haven't really talked about, very much on Twitter or anywhere else, because this is kind of a, not a side project, but kind of like my little passion project. I've always wanted to take time to interview animators, not just brick filmers, but animators and filmmakers who are in the same field as me and doing the same things for the same reason. So I haven't really said a whole lot about it, but yeah, welcome to Motion Talk. This is going to be the series where maybe I can get out like one a month or so, where I interview different people in the brick filming / animation industry. So it's not going to be just people who work with Lego. It's hopefully going to get some storyboard artists and concept artists as well, just to get on and have a chat about film and like how they got to where they are at. But I am joined today for the very first episode with Ben Eli, one of my favorite creators here on the platform, which is YouTube. His YouTube channel is Real Force. But Ben, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I'm glad to be on this podcast of yours.
Yeah, it's been something we've been trying to nail down for probably the entire summer, because we're both
really
so busy just with everything else that we're doing. But we're finally gonna be able to get this done, and hopefully it's gonna be a good time. And he'll actually probably join us on the Frame 100 podcast for the season finale, which you guys are probably going to be hearing this after said finale, so whatever.
Yep.
But
I do plan on it.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. So without further ado, Ben, when did you start working in film, or more specifically animation?
Well, I would say that the first encounter I had with animation really is back in 2007. It was around Christmas time. I had seen the iCaught segment, that was an ABC program, iCaught, and David Pagano and other brick filmers were featured on it, along with like clips from people like Nathan Wells and stuff. And I'd seen it and I was like, man, making them pretty much all the time, because I just was all over I was all over that. So
yeah.
From there really, it just took off. Of course I was still young then, so I wasn't like serious into it, but I had made, I don't know, 50 or 60 movies that year alone.
Dang.
Crazy, because I was like making one all the time. Of course they were just like, I made them up off the top of my head most of the time. So taking a few years off, getting back in, taking a year off or so, and getting back in again, and here I am now in 2017. I haven't stopped since, picked it back up late 2013.
Okay, and then your channel has been around since before 2010, right?
Yes, actually my first YouTube channel was, looking it up here, was made, I think, in like 2009.
Okay.
Then I moved to my current YouTube channel in like 2011. So,
okay.
But I had actually been uploading before that on my father's account, but that's been gone. So.
Oh, that's
I don't know when that
hilarious.
was made.
Same here.
Yeah.
When I started, I had to get my dad. I was like, Dad, I really want to upload my stuff to YouTube. And he's like, okay, fine. Only if you do it under my name. And I was like, all right. So,
yeah. The way I got around it was my brother signed up. He was 13 at the time, so he was actually allowed to get a YouTube channel. So he signed up for the YouTube channel, of course, with my dad's permission.
Yeah.
But I was the only one using it. He didn't ever upload anything. So
Oh,
I wasn't
dang.
even supposed to be using YouTube. But, got all my videos checked before. I didn't allow comments, and I really didn't watch YouTube. So, I just wanted to put them online for, I don't really know why. I guess for just everybody to see. Just because that was the thing to do.
Nice. Yeah, I remember getting inspired. I think the first time I saw anything was back in 2008. I think my parents, actually, I was homeschooled my entire life, so my parents actually, there's a guy at one of these, homeschool conventions, and he was doing stop motion. I don't even remember his name, but he was doing it like with Lego, and he sold like a whole like little like starter kit. So for Christmas, my parents got it for me, and I started, making stuff, and then I wondered like, oh, is there maybe this stuff on YouTube? So I went on YouTube, and of course I found Forrest Fire and his Batman films, and I was like, oh my gosh, no way!
Yeah.
This is actually a thing. So that's when I started getting onto YouTube. I think it was September 6th of 2009. So actually, my 8 years on this channel specifically is coming up.
Wow.
But yeah, okay. So that's how you got into it. And then so as far as like I've noticed like from watching your current channel since 2011, obviously as creators we evolve over time. Was there a particular area that you liked the most out of the process? Because I know some people like editing, some people like the act of like actually shooting, some like the pre-production, post, all that. What would you say is something that like really brings it together for you that's really enjoyable, aside from it, being the entire thing itself?
Well, man, that's, over the years, I've done all kinds of stuff. A lot of stuff is actually unlisted. Nobody can see it unless you go to the playlists. I did a lot of LEGO Universe gameplay videos and stuff back then, and I like to edit up gameplay footage, like into music videos and movie trailers and just stuff. That's where I really found that I really love to edit. Now, with animation, you just shoot what you need, and then you edit it all together in, linear fashion. But with like game footage or live action footage, editing, it's all messy when it comes out of the camera or your recorder or whatever. But whenever you edit it together, it really comes together. And so I've sort of found that I really love to just edit video and stuff. I don't know, if it really I think I like it better than animation actually, but I like animation because I can still control everything. There's a certain it's weird because I like both things, but they don't really mesh that well. Because as I mentioned, you shoot only what you need animation. But over the years of my YouTube channel, I guess I've just leaned towards editing. That's my favorite part of the production process. Of course, I still love writing and shooting and lighting, photography, all that good stuff.
Yeah. I actually like. I think for me right now is I like the actual animation part, but I do love the editing process, especially like we'll get into what kind of stuff that you use and stuff, but like when I'm in like Final Cut or something and I'm doing like color correction and stuff, like when I see it get like exactly how I want it to look, like with the right color, the right set, like just makes me so happy.
Oh yes, it's just like, wow, that's it.
yeah. So
sort of satisfies a little bit of that OCD tendency,
right?
In all of us.
Yeah.
So everything's perfect now.
Yes, it's fine. We can now move on. But so going into software and stuff, what do you use currently? And then maybe you could give us a little bit of like a tiny history of like what you started with and kind of what brought you to like where you are now in terms of like equipment and stuff.
Okay. Currently I use Dragon Frame to shoot with because I won that in a contest, and that's for stop motion, of course. For like live action, I don't shoot with that. I use Sony Movie Studio Platinum 12. That's kind of old now, I guess, but it still works for me. If any beginners are listening to this, you should get this version instead of 13.
Oh yeah,
I recommend this version to everyone because they ruined it in 13. Although Magix bought it with a 14, so it might be good now. I don't know, but this is pretty cheap and it's very effective. So there's your little advertisement there. I use Celtics, I guess that's how you pronounce it. The old version. I downloaded it like on CNET or something. It's not the online Celtics version, it's the standalone Windows version. That's how I write my scripts.
Okay.
I use Sony Audio Studio. It came with Movie Studio for audio recording. I sometimes use Audacity too, which is free.
Yeah.
And that's about it. In the past, now I've used such a variety of programs. When I first got my DSLR, I started using Digicam Control, which is a camera to computer tethering software. It lets you remote capture and all that good stuff on Nikons and Canons. I'm pretty sure it's made more for Nikon than Canon, but I don't quote me on that or anything. But it works on most cameras. Of course, whenever I had my Nikon, Live View didn't work on it, so I didn't really like it then. But then I got my Canon and it worked, but it's not an animation program. It does have an animation feature in it, because pretty sure that I actually got him to add the animation feature. I requested it on the GitHub page, but either way, it's okay for like if you're starting out. It's got a kind of a learning curve, but it really trains you as an animator, to how to animate blind pretty much.
Yeah.
Before that, of course, I used like Movie Maker and like Monkey Jam.
Oh, Monkey Jam.
We won't get into that. Those were
those are the days. Those were the days.
Oh yes, that was so simple.
Man,
didn't really care about it all.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was the Four Monkeys. They did an animation tutorial with Monkey Jam, and that's when I jumped on that wagon for a while. And then I moved over to iStopMotion a couple years ago, and then I just recently got Dragonframe over the past like 3 or 4 months. But so you mentioned Nikon. So are you now still with Canon, right?
Yes, Canon forever. Actually,
Yes.
Unless of course Panasonic or Sony makes a better camera.
Because
but right now, Canon.
I remember you saying something. I don't know if it was on the forums a couple years ago. Maybe not a couple years ago. I might be exaggerating that, but you were on the Nikon train pretty hard for a while. I remember.
Yeah. I was not introduced to the blessings that are Canon and Live View and all that good stuff. I had this Nikon D3100. I bought it because my sister had the D3000, and I thought it was a good camera. And D3100 had video. I mean, come on, that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not good for stop motion. It's got so many issues. It doesn't tether Live View, so you can only use Live View on your camera.
Yeah.
The flange distance where the lens attaches is like too short, so it has a smaller lens compatibility. It's a mess. So that's why was it just 1 year later? I'm pretty sure, maybe a year and a half. I went out and bought a Canon SL1. That was the best purchase, really, for a long time.
I'm considering picking one up. I mean, I use a Canon T5i. I don't know if that's better or worse, but I really like the way yours looks, and I also like the way that like Forlorn Creatures look. That's why I want two, because I want to kind of animate with the different kinds of styles. I don't know if that's just because of different, lighting or exposure settings or whatnot. But I am.
Well, I would think
that. Up.
Well, I mean, I would think that it would be more in like the lens and the lighting. I'm pretty sure there's not that much difference between like the SL1 and the T5i. They have a similar sensor, so and I'm usually shoot about ISO 100, so like it's not like I'm using extreme low light settings or anything.
Yeah.
But for lenses, I guess since we're talking about this, I'll go ahead and get into this. I use most of the time, I use a Helios 44-2 58 millimeters. It's an old vintage Russian lens from the USSR, so it's a communist lens. So
man,
capitalism forever though. It's really good. It has it's great for portraits. It's got like swirly bokeh, but for stop motion, it really creates a nice image. I also use a Nikon, older Nikkor 28 millimeters. I don't know the f-stop on it or anything. It's just what I found on eBay, and it's great also. I use that quite a bit as well. Those are the primary two lenses I use. I know that you mentioned Forlorn. He uses the Canon kit lens
Yeah,
in
yeah.
his Creepers series. So that's also a good lens. But I guess for visual style, it's mostly probably just lamps and lenses versus the actual camera body because you know people on like Bricks in Motion, they're always asking, "What camera body do you have?" I'm like, they're all about the same unless you get a really old one. All the
Hmm.
most recent ones are about the unless of course you get a full frame, then I can't help you there because I have not used one of those.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So, lenses. I guess that makes sense because like bodies technically kind of run the same, like you said. Just maybe the sensor and everything's a little bit different. So
yeah.
I guess then you got me on. I want to quickly just do a segue into lighting. Or we're talking about it. You got me into using brick stuff lights after I saw Race of a Legend. Like I went
Man,
like
I need a
I
commission from Brick Stuff now.
I watched the behind the scenes and I was like, because like I remember when it came out, I was like, I really want to know how he got those lights in the garage. Like I want to figure that out. And then you came out with the behind the scenes, and I was like, what are the? Oh, okay, this works. So do you? I think you've said before, like in your behind the scenes, like you usually use like desk lamps with a combination of the brick stuff lights when needed, obviously.
Yeah. Um, Brick Stuff are wonderful. They fit in Lego, of course. But yes, I use mostly desk lamps. I actually bought a softbox kit, which I haven't used that much in brick films, except for maybe my newest couple or three, maybe for just environment lighting. But most of the time, I use desk lamps for like the sun or like an interior lighting. But the brick stuff really add life to the whole set. So like you mentioned in Race of a Legend, I use brick stuff pretty much all over that because I liked the way it looked in the background, the way it shines on the faces, really creates a sharp glare on the faces, which makes it look really plasticky, and I really like that. And I also used it in like equine introspection for the lamps outside. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll just mix it up, just depending on what I need. I use like for coloring the desk lamps, I'll use like tissue paper, like for wrapping gifts and stuff. Not for wrapping,
Yeah,
but like putting inside of them.
yeah,
Um, because I haven't bought lighting gels. And it all works. So I just use a sort of a white colored bulb in my desk lamp or a yellow one. Cover it with a color. Use some brick stuff. Improvise. Sometimes I use flashlights. So.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I really liked the lighting of Race of a Legend. Honestly, like that was probably like what got me really like into taking lighting more seriously. It's really funny. I I think in my last actual animation I put out, which was the portal experiment, um, I didn't realize just how much of a factor lighting is to really like making like the mood of like a film like work. Like most of the comments in that video were, oh, really good lighting, all this other stuff, and I was like, okay, thanks.
Yes. Yeah, lighting is so powerful. I'm so glad whenever I figured that out, I was so happy to figure that out. Because I was like, man, this light can, really set the mood. I'm pretty sure that the first time I really took lighting seriously was in Journey to the Center of Time. I
I
had
love that
discovered that
movie.
if I tilt my lamps down, it creates a completely different atmosphere. So I was like, whoa, I've got to do this more.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was just like, wow, so powerful.
One thing that I really like about your animations and what pretty much what your channel's really about, and it's kind of, I think, like we have similar channels in a way. We do a lot of our own original work, and we don't do a lot of things with existing IPs. I mean, granted, I know you've been doing a lot of stuff with like Ninjago over the past year and the Batman stuff as well. But
Yeah.
a lot of your signature films that like everyone really knows, like Sola Luna, which will probably always be my favorite film of yours. Um, they're so original. And the reason why I bring that up is because, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it, and some of the, Frame 100 podcasts that maybe you've tuned in on. I'm a huge fan of doing original work and not using the existing IP, just because I'm a creative person. So like I love to try to give myself a challenge in that way. Was that something that you just did because when you started you didn't have maybe an abundance of a specific, theme of Lego, or did you just start making your own stuff regardless of like your collection? Because I know what's common right now is a lot of people, especially in the brick filming community, will tend to just do stuff with stuff that they have, which is totally fine. But obviously when it comes to writing scripts and putting stuff together, it might be a little bit more difficult to put something together from scratch. So I was just wondering if that was something you've always done, or that's something you just started doing over time because you wanted to, make more of your own stuff.
Well, whenever like I started, I was, of course I was young, so I didn't even care what I made really. But like, okay, well, whenever I came to my current like phase of brick filming in 2014, I don't remember making an actual conscious effort to not make IP films. Like one of my first one was a Johnny Thunder thing, and then like a Back to the Future. Actually, I had made them just to try to get views, but I realized that didn't work. But whenever I made them, I was never like completely ripping things off. So I think it was just more of a natural thing where I make what I feel like I want to make, and I just tend to make more original things. Now, I'm not exclusively original, obviously. I've done Ninjago and Batman and stuff, just, sometimes for, like, commissions, and sometimes just for views, and other times for contests, just because I want to. But I don't really... I know that on Bricks in Motion, there was this big kick against IP films.
Yeah.
I think that probably influenced me a little bit, and I was like, they're right. There are so many of them out there. So I was just like, I'm gonna write my own, which I've always leaned towards writing my own stuff. I actually find it kind of harder to use an original IP, like not original. I meant pre-existing IP, like maybe Star Wars or something, because you have to write within that universe and that character. Versus taking and writing, and you can make up the whole universe. And so if something breaks a rule, you just say, well, it's my universe, that's the rule now, instead of like, oh, that's not how it works in Star Wars, are you crazy?
Yeah.
So,
oh man, I'm actually really glad we see eye to eye on that. That makes me really happy.
Yeah.
But all right, that's great. And so I know you've been doing, especially like I didn't actually know who you were until maybe 2 years ago. And ever since then, I've been, extremely, extremely hooked. Actually, you voiced in a little bit of my Beyond the Stars film, which was for a contest for Owl City's filmmaking contest last year. Still eventually pushing for us to work on a film together soon, or in the future, whenever it suits us, because I've got a lot of stuff in the works too. But going back to your other stuff, you've been doing commission work for like I don't know if it's been pretty often, but I mean over the past like year or so, I've been seeing a lot of commissions. I know you did stuff with did you do stuff with Stickbot? I feel like you did, or is that
I did? Yes.
Okay.
Ongoing.
You did Stickbot stuff. You did didn't you do Tube Heroes too back in the day? Not back. I
did do one Tube Heroes, but they didn't want me to come back apparently. And I also did stuff with Artifacts Creation, which is another YouTube channel. I don't really know why he paid me to do that, but whatever. Those were the Batman and like Ninjago Destiny's Gamers one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so like what could you kind of explain what, like, how that came about? Because I'm really been looking, like, for commissioned work, and I've been trying to figure out like who I need to talk to, but for the sake of the audience and for the sake of like story and history, like how did you get into the the whole world of like, like commission work? Because obviously your stuff is very, very good. So obviously, eventually someone would bound to have seen your work and have been like, okay, I want Ben to animate something for me. So like, how did that go down?
Well, it was very hard. I sort of decided, last year, I suppose, maybe early last year or late 2015. I was like, you know what? I want to try to maybe make some money doing this. So I just sort of, I never used Facebook before then, but I was like, I'm gonna friend all these people from Bricks in Motion on Facebook, and maybe I'll ask a little bit around to see if they have any advice about getting commissions and stuff. Of course, I wasn't that, my animation was very rough, like in 2015 and stuff. So I kept practicing. Eventually, though, who did I talk to? I don't remember. But anyway, somehow I got in touch with Tube Heroes through somebody else who worked with them. They recommended me, and I did one video for them. I really enjoyed doing that. They didn't want me to do another one because their YouTube channel actually sort of died off after that, which was odd. So I was like at the very end. I think that the company's more into other toys or like, Roblox figures. I don't know. But then after that, I had one, so now I can use it to get another one maybe, I have a little bit of experience in my YouTube channel. So, I can't remember, then Stickbots actually was so out of the blue. Kevin from Brotherhood Workshop had recommended me to Stickbots because they emailed me saying Kevin recommended you, and I was like, whoa. Thing is, it's all about getting connections. I had friended him on Facebook because he had made a video on Facebook. I'm pretty sure it was for Lego. About talking about Race of Legends since it won the contest. He was like, I'd love to see it behind the scenes. I made the behind the scenes because he said that, and I linked it to him, so I friended him, about the same time, and I guess that's means that he saw my stuff, and so he recommended me to them. He must have, because he's working with like Lego, so he probably couldn't take on Stickbots, but they contacted me for a video. A little bit time went by to contact me for another one, and now I don't know if anybody knows about this app. I didn't know about it. It's Musically or something. Musical.
Yeah, Musically. Yeah.
I'm making videos for that app most of the time. For them now.
Awesome.
Because they like to have semi-daily videos. You can see a compilation of them, of my if anybody's interested, on the Stickbot Central channel, or on the animations playlist on my channel. It says the best of Musically Stickbot First Edition. That's some of my work. Basically, that's just it. I don't even know how it happened, really. I just decided to make connections with some people. It turned out, it worked out. I just asked people, tips and tricks of the trade, and then they got to know me, sort of, not like super personally or anything. It just sort of went from there. Of course, I would love to get more clients, so if you're a client and you're listening in, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RioForce.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm good with that. Okay. We should be, a little side note here, for anybody who wants to, I don't know if you were going to get into this later, so I'm kind of messing up your order here.
Go ahead.
But the thing about commissions is that it eats up your time for like your stop motions, and it also not only time, because you can make time for both work and play, but because it's such a similar thing, but they're both stop motion Stickbots and like brick filming. The thing is, you get tired of it because you're sitting in this room alone in the dark, with your set lamps, listening to a podcast or something for a couple hours to make, I don't know, a 30-second video. Or, well, depending on the complexity, of course. And then you're like, okay, now I gotta do another one there. Now I've got ahead a little bit. and of course, if you have other obligations, you got to take those into account. But then you got to kind of get tired of it, and so then you're like, well, now I don't really want to make this brick film anymore. And there's also this aspect of it where, well, I'm not getting paid for it, so why would I make it? Of course, that's something to get over, of course. I've sort of come to grips with that. That's sort of maybe why I slowed down a lot more in my stop motions sort of this year.
I noticed that.
Because I started getting commissions, so I was working, making money doing it.
Yeah.
And of course, other life things like college. But then after, whenever I wanted to make another film, it had to be for a contest. It's pretty much I do all that anyway. Or for work, because I couldn't really find the initiative to make something that wasn't. And I've always struggled with that, making things outside of a contest setting, because I have like motivation issues, like Princess Storm, or which we'll get into later if you want.
Yeah, for sure.
For anybody listening, that's a film I've been supposedly making for like 3 years now, and I still hadn't made it. So just the contest itself usually structures me to get something done or work. So if anybody's eager to make stop motions for like work, that's great. But just remember that you might not enjoy it after you're done.
Yeah. I mean, I think
I would love to make like the movies I would love to make. I would love to make a Captain D-ROM every month.
Yes.
But I can't do that because it doesn't pay the bills. What does pay the bills is animating for other people, so it's hard to justify making Captain D-ROM every month, except the way I justify it is to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
Because I have to make something. So, that was just a little side rant there.
No, that's some good stuff. Like for what this show is really dedicated to is a lot of the people who are who take filmmaking and animation specifically more seriously into the next level, and who either want to do it as a career, or maybe just like a side job. I've been teaching myself animation and filmmaking for I'm 20 now, so I've been 12 years now. And I was debating about whether or not I wanted to go to school for it. And I thought about it, and I decided against it eventually because I've heard so many stories of people going to school for the project that they love and then just ending up not liking it because it just became such a big part of their life and not in a way to them that was as rewarding as what they were doing before. So will I still continue to do animation all my life? Yeah, probably. Will I get paid for all of it? Probably not, and that's fine. But you mentioned college, so are you going to school for film or animation?
No. Well,
No.
Sort of. Okay. I had originally, I don't know when this was. I had registered for like a college nearby, a big fancy college, an art school, to do animation. This was before I had gotten very many commissions. I think I had already won. And I was like, this is maybe what I want to do for my life. That didn't go through because obviously art school is like the most expensive thing in the world.
Yeah.
And also because now in retrospect, I can see maybe I don't want to do that. I think about, wow, it'd be cool to animate in the studio, but at the same time, maybe not. Maybe I would just prefer to have a day job and animate as a hobby. That's something like Nathan Wells. He has a day job. He animates as a hobby, so he still enjoys it. I mean, he doesn't hardly make anything, though.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Nathan. Don't mean to throw some heat on him, but and I had a thought and I just forgot it. But back on track.
Yeah.
No, I am not going for animation to college. I am going for communications.
Okay.
It's sort of a multimedia film degree at a local state college, so it's definitely way more affordable. And maybe I'll get a day job editing like videos or filming like, I don't know, corporate tutorials. Who knows? I don't know. But I can keep animating on the side if I want, of course, because it's my hobby. the reason I didn't like go into something like, I don't know, engineering or something weird, besides the point that I'm like completely unskilled in that, is because I still want to do something I enjoy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for people who's listening that maybe wants to go to college, for but still likes filmmaking but doesn't think that filmmaking, would make a good job, try to keep something in your field. Don't just go for like, I don't know, English. Well, don't go for English anyway. It's a useless degree. But don't go for like, uh, I don't know, what are degrees anymore? Coding. If you don't like coding, don't do that.
Yeah.
Um, Go for something that's relevant. And you know what? Maybe you'll never get a job doing it, but maybe you'll learn how to do things and better yourself in your hobby. Maybe your hobby will become a job, like where you can be self-employed instead of contract employed. That's,
Hmm.
to be honest, that's my ultimate goal. Not with Brick Films, but with, I don't really know yet. I would love to be self-employed. Probably my
Yeah.
homeschooler coming out in me.
No, dude, same
Instead of
here. Same
that
here,
way,
man.
I can make the things I love to make, and I can feel fulfilled in creating things that I like versus not, creating things for companies and making what they want, which drains me.
Yeah,
And I can
yeah.
also get paid for it. So that's like a huge dream, and I would love to do that. And so I'm just right now I'm working toward that more so than trying to get clients. So that's
Hmm.
probably pretty much about why I'm doing college as well. Obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
not for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I'm I moved out of my parents' house before I turned 20 and got this little studio apartment that I'm in right now. And honestly, like sometimes I think I'm like, oh, maybe I should have gone to college. But then now that I think about it, I'm really glad that I didn't. And it's just me because I have a day job. I work like a
Yeah,
9 to 7 job 4 days a week, and then I have like an extra day off. So it's nice that way. But like when I'm that frees me up a lot to work on animation and pursue that like kind of like a night job or something, if you will, or a hobby pretty
yeah,
much, to work on and still enjoy. I feel like if I had gone to school for it, I feel like it would ruin the creative process for me right now, because
yeah.
part of why I
Totally
love
understandable.
part of why I love like the brick filming community especially is always finding different ways to push the bar. Even when it comes to me animating new things, like I don't know if you saw this, but like last week I bought a little like Minecraft figure that wasn't Lego,
Yeah, I
and
did see that.
I just animated it and just wanted to get into different mediums. I just want to see how it would work, and I'm having fun with it. And then I got a stick bot a couple weeks before that, so I'm just testing out new things. And I feel like if I had to do that, I feel like it might not be as enjoyable, but I'm having a blast with the new mediums, and
Oh yeah,
um, I know you're doing new mediums because you've been streaming it. Um,
yeah. If anybody
what,
watches those, nobody
what,
does. Well, I guess you
it,
do.
yeah, yeah. So, do you wanna go into that a little bit? Like, it really
Sure.
everything for me though kind of sometimes circles back to Forlorn Creature because as soon as I saw like your show, I'm like, oh, he's doing a puppet. Oh no, it's like everyone's catching the puppet bug because I know Tom's working on the Lonely Android, which I cannot wait for. I cannot wait for
Yeah. When's
that.
he gonna make that?
I
I
don't
thought
know.
that was
He
his senior film. Now he's
Yeah,
out
it
of
is.
college, so.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, so what new mediums are you working with, and what sent you down that road?
Well, I like to try new things. With any movie I make, I like to try something brand new, whether it be like a new skill or a genre or like just a small lighting difference or something new that I'm trying to write. But sometimes I just like to go in and try a new medium. I've always been experimental. I love to just learn things that I like to learn. That is, I don't like to learn things like psychology. That's boring. Uh, but yeah, I've been creating sort of a not wireframe, but a wire armature puppet, just for messing around with. I had this sort of idea of maybe a little video that I want to do with it, something that would be more suited towards like a puppet or a live action, more so towards a puppet versus like a minifigure. So it has more of a personality and a wider reach, maybe sort of, if you get that. Versus just like brick filming and stuff. The puppet I've been making, I don't remember the guy's name, but it was based on a tutorial, so it's not original. Don't worry. I'm not that good yet. It's my first one.
Yeah.
The reason I already told you the reason I'm making it. It's a felt puppet. It's got wire armature. It's probably going to be covered with felt because I'm not good with like silicone casting or clay sculpting or anything right now. But who knows? Maybe in the future I will be. But right now I'm just sticking with that to experiment, because experimenting is really the best way of learning, in my opinion. That's how I learn. I learn really well with doing things with my hands versus just reading them.
Yeah, same. Gotta actually put in the time to make something work. But all right, yeah.
And I mean, all through my filmmaking quote career, not a career, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've been trying different things like pretty much all the time. Like when I started the channel, my YouTube channel, I was making live action videos, and then I started editing LEGO Universe videos, and then I started making tutorials, and I did some CGI 3D animation in Blender, and I've done brick films. Good grief! I do everything. Sometimes I try to do 2D animation, but I'm not good with drawing.
Oh,
yet.
So is that your profile picture now? Was that? Like, did you make
that?
Oh,
you mean on like Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I sort of. That was not animated. That was just drawn. Wait, I don't understand what you're saying.
No, like I thought like the head, like did you draw that onto?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because I honestly I considered doing 2D, and I think I still might, because there's actually I don't know what you used for that, but there's this thing. It's like Anime Studio. It's like $20. But you can put some cool stuff together. I don't know if you're aware of creators like Tom Scott. He did the Astef movie series and did a lot of other cartoons like Ed's World and stuff, which is all 2D animation. I'm pretty sure he used something around that line of software, and I've been trying to dabble in that. But I do like I do like working with my hands, so it's really hard for me to get away from like the actual medium of like blocks, whether that be Legos or this other stuff, and then moving on to like a computer thing. And I don't think that will ever become a major part of what I do, just because I just think that, especially like when it comes to brick filming, it's for me it's so much more rewarding to build something up, figure out where it goes, and like just go from there. It's literally like an entire universe, if you will, of possibilities like for that, even though I'm dabbling into some other mediums too. But
my, since you mentioned the avatar, my Twitter/Facebook avatar right now, I drew it with like Krita, or I don't know how to pronounce that, Krita. It's just a drawing program. It's got a little bit of animation program in it. I've not used Anime Studio because I haven't really gotten into. I haven't really figured out how to make my characters pose more than one way yet.
That's the hard
so
part.
So bad at drawing. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. But as we talked about a little bit earlier, so Princess Storm, like. What that we talked about it a little bit before we even started recording this episode today, but we're talking about how when I found out about Princess Storm from like a really like passive aggressive joke someone made about why, like, I guess like since you've slowed down in film, someone said, oh, he must be working on Princess Storm. I'm pretty sure that was on Bricks in Motion. And I was like,
probably.
I was like, Princess Storm? I've never seen any of that on his channel. Like how would you? So I went looking for anything I could find for Princess Storm. This is like 8 months ago, and I was racking my brain. I was like, where is it? I want to see some of this stuff. And then I had talked to 5K Animations, Matt Kimball, and I was like, yeah, so what's this Princess Storm thing? And he's like, oh yeah, Ben's been working on that for a while, and we have no idea when that's coming out. Probably around the same time when Vegasario comes out, which is another film that I'm waiting for to come out. That actually, that inspired me to do Strange Happenings last year. That was part of the inspiration. That and his film Recollections, and then Beyond the Stars. That film that I did back in December. That was for Owl City's film contest, but that was also inspired by Sola Luna. Like I was hoping when I was making it, I was like, yeah. So I obviously don't want to rip off Rio Force, but I really like the way that was filmed, so I tried to do something similar, especially like when it came down to, I don't know if you actually got around to watching it, but
yeah, I did watch it. It's been a while since I've seen it though, so
yeah, it came down to some of the set design when it came to like the moon, because I loved your design for Sola Luna. That was probably I think one of the films that like really like brought you like up to like where you are now. Like that was
I really tried to market that one a lot. After I won the Darkness and Light, I submitted to festivals and junk, and but the set design is pretty minimalistic actually. Just because I hate set designing, so it's not great set design, but
did you used ultraviolet lights for that, right?
A black light, yes.
Black light, okay.
I think that's ultraviolet. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a black light. I used it, and it turns translucent yellow. I don't know if the new ones, but the old ones, they glow with the black light, and that was really cool when I discovered that. And so I was like, man, I gotta get one of these black light bulbs. And so I did, and I used it in the sort of the dark portions of Sola Luna. I tried to make it have two different visual styles, so it's a really distinct contrast between obviously darkness and light.
Yeah. Did while we're kind of talking about contests and stuff, are you planning on entering THAC when it comes around?
Yes. I mean,
okay.
Come on, is that even a question? I'm going to enter.
You'd be amazed how many people I've asked, like, oh, are you gonna do THAC? And they're just like, nah. I'm like, what? And this is my first THAC actually, so I'm excited for.
It's so fun. I love THAC. Now, last year's THAC, the film came out so weird. I was like, what? After it was done, and I still don't even know what it is, but the process of making it is so enjoyable. I just
yeah. You better give us some
sort of like
behind the scenes.
Today is THAC day, and I am not doing anything else today or tomorrow.
yeah. You got to get it all done in 24 hours or less. Although like I think yes. I'll have an okay time doing it because the Portal experiment for Brawl took me 13 hours because like, I worked full time, so I only had like a 2-day window, which was over the weekend, to do anything for it. So I was like, I'm just gonna get this out, and I think for 13 hours straight of working on it, I don't think it came out that bad. But so before
THAC is a completely different ball game, though.
yeah. THAC, I watched. I always try to watch all the behind the scenes of people who
I love
post
documentaries.
them. So I watched Forlorn's documentary of his one last year, and that was insane. I was just like, oh my god.
It gets harder every year. Like the first year I did THAC, I completed about 5 a.m. So it wasn't 24. It was, I don't know, maybe 19 hours or so. I can't remember. No, I think it was earlier. I don't know. either way, it was not as late as like Mech, which was my second THAC.
I
That
loved
one
Mech.
was pretty much down to it wasn't down to the wire. I think it still had like 45 minutes remaining. Now, Immature Antics of an Evildoer, this or yeah, 2017 pack this year, the previous one. That was literally it was 7 a.m. and it was still uploading. It wasn't done uploading until like 7:03, but I'd already sent the link, so there was no turning back now.
Ah,
Just
man.
it was like so intense, and I just like fell out on my bed and did not wake up for so many more hours. I don't know
That's hair
how I
raising.
stayed sane because I was already tired when I started FAC because I had been sorting Lego like up to 11 o'clock that night.
Oh,
The night
wow.
before FAC, and I had to get up at 7.
Nice job.
And so I was so tired. It was just all that like yodeling music. I
Yeah.
don't even know. I just listened to yodeling songs like for hours and hours that night for no reason. Probably why it came out so weird, to be honest.
You don't deny it, right?
I do not deny it, no. And you can see it on my past live streams. I live streamed the whole thing. Well, not the whole thing, but the animating part. You can just hear yodeling for hours on my live stream.
Oh man. So before we kind of segue into wrapping up, when I was at the beach of like 2 weeks ago, I saw you put out a music video. That was my favorite thing
goodness.
ever. Like, what was
Speaking
that
of
about?
rapping,
What was that about?
I have no idea. Sometimes my brain is just like, let's do this, and I'm like, okay, so I just go along with it. Um, I I heard that Paint was dying, and or that Microsoft's rumored to take it out in the next version
Yeah.
of like
Windows.
Windows, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta make something for this. I gotta get on this bandwagon.
Yeah.
So
gotta
I started filming
commemorate.
it, and it sort of went downhill. I had a lot more planned for it, but then I got tired of it really fast. But so I was like, I gotta finish this. So I just threw it together, finished filming, and I don't know what that is. When my grandchildren will see it and like, what are you thinking? And I have no idea.
What is paint? You don't know. You
Yeah,
don't
really.
understand.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that made me laugh. I was watching it on the way up. I was like, this kid's crazy. This is awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes I just do really weird things just for no reason at all. That's youtube.com/brick supply.
So are you? So do you start college? I guess this fall or soon.
I'm
I
actually
guess.
already in it, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
I was in it last fall, and I skipped spring. I did summer, and it started last week, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's been a long week.
Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna ask. I was like, so does that mean like will brick films still continue to happen at the rate they're currently happening then for the year? Like, do you think you'll get one out before the year's end, before THAC?
I really want to. I want to be honest, I want to make one this week. I have a lot of stickbot work to get caught up on, but hopefully I'll get one out this week, just sort of like a brawl style video for the Spirit of Adventure contest on Bricks in Motion. I don't know if anybody's actually entering that,
Oh,
but
I thought about
sometimes
it. I thought about it. I think I
yeah,
might.
I've been thinking about it, but I've been putting it off. Like every contest I do, I always do it at the very last minute. Like my new a new Lego set video, I did that on the last day of the contest. It was DQ'd, but I started one for the Ninjago rebrick contest as well, and
Yeah.
I didn't finish that either. So I have a
Will
really
it
bad
have to
track
be
record of
30
not
seconds?
finishing.
Has to be 30
It has to
seconds
be
at
a
least.
minute.
A
Doesn't it have
minute?
to be a minute? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was a minute. It was in the past. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll figure that out.
I might if it's a minute, I think I could knock that out this weekend. I think I could knock it out this weekend. What does it end September 10th?
Yes.
Oh, so I've got
Yes,
like what?
September
2
10th
weeks?
at 11:59.
Yeah. That's like 2.5 weeks. Almost 3. Right?
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
just 2. 1, 2. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
2.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Exactly
we
2
gotta
weeks.
submit it on. Yes. So hopefully,
Okay.
I'll get some caught up on my work, and then I can throw together a little bit of a break film. I finally got a little bit of an idea, so I just need to expand that.
Mhm. I
Hopefully-
kind of have one too, so we'll have to.
Hopefully, we'll see another brick film from each of us.
Yeah. Because I know it was really crazy. Portal Experiment was my first brick film of this year because I was so busy with Guns of Cordis, which is part 1 is gonna come out on schedule, but I have to say, and I have to say it here on this show because this is, animation and everything. I really don't like making things with existing IPs, and I started it because it was in such high demand. Like, you need to make a sequel to this, and I was already planning a sequel to it. But as time wore on, it stopped becoming like a really fun creative process because there's already a universe built around it, and there's not that much you can do. And so it's still getting worked on. Don't get me wrong. Still getting worked on because I've put a wad of money into that project.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely going to be coming out. I mean, it's going to be a half hour long, but
oh my goodness, that's long.
Yeah. The script is crazy. You've got over 20 people voicing in this thing. It's huge. It's massive.
That's even longer than Princess Storm was going to be.
Well, how long
now
was
I have
Princess
no
Storm
excuse
gonna
of not
be?
making it. Well, the original Princess Storm was probably going to be 10 or so, but now it's sort of cut down to, well, no, it's probably going to be about 15, but now it's cut down to maybe 5 or 7.
What?
Because in my newest script revision, it was really convoluted originally. It wasn't the greatest script, but I'm pretty sure, I know we didn't really talk about this earlier.
Yeah.
If I ever do Princess Storm again, if I ever pick it up, it's script is done. It's been done for a long time. I just have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, you mentioned a bit earlier, never got to say this, you were looking for Princess Storm stuff. There's I don't know if you ever saw the production topic on Bricks in Motion. That's where I was originally posting all the stuff about it until I sort of stopped.
I'll have to check it out then.
Like any long film that has a production topic on Motion, I did not get finished.
Yeah.
It sort of seems to be a weird curse of Bricks in Motion production topics. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe it's just me not being able to make things that are long. I guess I kind of lose motivation in the middle. It's kind of weird.
But
maybe one day I'll get it done.
Now you had me thinking about something else that I wanted to talk about before we wrap up. But you're now a moderator on Bricks in Motion.
Yep.
How what's it like, like being in that space? Because honestly, I'm trying to go for moderator. I need to be more active. I know I did that challenge for everyone to post every day for a week, which was actually, it was really interesting to see just how much more engagement happened in that week. So I think I'm going to try to initiate that again. But
I don't even post every day.
It was just because I wanted to see how much of a resource that it is, and it really is a huge resource for the community. But
I think that Bricks in Motion has a lot of potential.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, there's not that much engagement, which is when it used to be really great. But I should probably get back on there.
Oh, all right.
As a moderator, I'm surprised they made me a mod. I was, first I bashed Smeagol's film on, don't look that one up, on the topic, and I was just I don't know why they made me a mod, but it's not that it's not that big a deal. I'm just a normal old regular person who has to just delete spam. That's all.
Yeah, just go around and beep. You're the content police for Bricks in Motion.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I really need to get back on there because it's so much fun to talk to people on Bricks in Motion. But
yeah, it is.
Of course, there is a chat room. I guess maybe for people who are on Bricks in Motion, there's a Discord chat. That's where most of the activity happens. Although that's not necessarily brick film related.
Yeah, I've been noticing.
But that's where most of the that's where most of the activity goes around anymore. But the forum is still a great place for resources and stuff if you can get somebody to reply to your topics.
Yeah,
I bash Bricks in Motion a lot, but it's a really great place.
But yeah. Wow. Did I? Oh yeah. Last and I guess final question. So is there anything you can tell us about that you're working on, or is everything under wraps? Because like I said, I know you're doing commission work right now and you're in college, so you're probably not working on Brick Films as much because you're working on all of your real life stuff. But are we gonna get a Captain D-ROM Christmas special or a Halloween special? Maybe.
Well, they come whenever I get an inspiration for a Captain D-ROM. I usually do it. I do have a couple scripts lying around, and one of them would work well for a special for like Halloween. I don't have any Christmas specials in plans yet. I should probably think about one if I want to do that. But the only thing really right now that I'm working on is just I'm making a puppet sometimes, doing stickbot work most of the time. And, I'm brainstorming for Spirit of Adventure, which hopefully will come out in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If I get that done.
What we can do. I'd love to, see what you come up with.
But I mean, there's not like really any big projects in the works right now because I've been so swamped. Which is obviously why it took so long to get on this podcast.
Oh yeah,
which nobody else knows this because they're listening. They can't know how long we've planned for this, but it's been forever.
Yeah, it's been forever, but it definitely was worth the wait. But Ben, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can, work together in the future. It is on my bucket list. I literally have a bucket list on my computer of like animators that I want to work with. So you
we'll
have not
to collab.
You haven't been crossed off the list yet, but thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Really appreciate you taking the time out.
Thanks, it was a blast.
I guess you're going to be hanging out with us on the podcast today too, the Family 100 one later.
If you still want me there after all this,
for sure. We're going to be interviewing.
There.
We're going to be interviewing Spuggastu, aka Gareth. So I guess we'll probably all just take turns fanboying over how awesome Gareth is and everything. But anyway guys, thank you so much for listening and or watching. You can check out Rio Force's channel. I will link it below with all of his other social media things if you want to get in touch with him for some commission work or whatever. But granted, if you do give him commission work, that means we will never get Princess Storm, so keep that in mind before.
Oh no, give me the commission work. I'll do both.
Alright guys, we will see you later.